Welcome back to Culture Bank's Game Changers. We're bringing you the most interesting companies and the bosses behind them who are changing the game. I'm Dan Roberts.
Yeah, and I'm Corey Hale, back with you guys. Today, we're going to be talking with the founder of Forbes, The Culture, Dan. Super duper cool group, and we're talking about how to create really meaningful, authentic communities. So let's really kind of get into what it looks like to have valuable communities. But first, I must say, Dan, this color pop that you're giving me on this denim is everything.
Thank you. I love a little red. You know, that's my color. Actually, I like to call it crimson.
I mean, I feel like the two of us together looking like a little Valentine's Day situation.
We should come through, right? We should pose into some Vicky Secrets, ads or something.
You never know. If they're cutting us a check, we might be able to do it, right?
Down for it. But yeah, I'm excited to be back with you. It's been quite some time since we recorded.
I know.
Yeah, and we talked about community. Like, you're totally my community. Whenever I need something, you're the person I always hit up. You're the person that I always bounce ideas off of. So I always wonder, like, do other people have these communities, and like, how do they maneuver through life?
Yes, well, you know, at Game Changers, we're all about specifically talking to entrepreneurs, so people that are creating their own thing time and time again. And what's really, really awesome is that those are the people that really become your community. I mean, so many people that we have on our show are people that we specifically work with at Culture Banks to highlight their stories and their companies, but just simple sort of things like, hey, who do you use as an attorney for your startup, right? Yeah. Like, because I need somebody, who's your plug? All of that just helps you build community, and then you never know. I mean, I think you're really one of the top-notch people at figuring out how to maneuver between different settings in corporate America.
Yeah, and honestly, it just came through time and being able to understand that, hey, there's a gap, you know, of what our community, people of color, what we have access to. So whenever I see a need or whenever I see a friend who could use a connection, I'm like, oh, 100%. Let me make this without you even asking. And I think that's very important. And like, I pride myself in doing it every day.
I know, building up community. I mean, for people that don't know out there, you're no longer a New York native. It saddens me to say,
New York was wearing me out. It was wearing me out.
He's left us and gone a little down south to D.C., but you have a big community down there.
I do. And I think that's one thing about D.C. being the chocolate city. Anywhere I go, there are people who look like me, who've done incredible things through education, government, PR, that sort of thing, that I can rely on. So community is so much more than this vague term. It is really about accessing folks who look out for you.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm going to go ahead and name drop on your behalf. You don't have to do it for the people.
Don't do it.
I have to do it for the people one time, Mr. Former Obama administration employee.
Yes,
Shout out to our forever president.
Yes, our forever president. Yeah, it was an incredible time working for President Obama. I mean, he literally defined who I am today, not only as my boss, but he was a person I looked up to and was a role model. So being able to take a little bit of Obama every day to work and understanding that you have to pay attention to detail. Everything you have to do is perfect and has to be a lot better than our counterparts. It still holds with me today.
Dan, can I get President Barack Obama in my community?
I mean, I'm trying to keep him in mind, you know, like, let me text him for you real quick, right?
Yeah. All right, we still have a lot more great show, don't we, Dan?
Yes, I'm so excited for what we have next. Next up, the community builder who's taking things to the next level. So stay tuned right here on Culture Bank's Game Changers. We know entrepreneurs are some of the busiest people around. I mean, they're hiring, they're building, they're doing it all. We've been reading a lot of cool things about your company. But tell us, who does it benefit more, the lender or the borrower?
Well, Solo is a marketplace, so it actually has to benefit both.
Rohan, Barley Sober. Yes. This is the company that is going to revolutionize the bar industry, not just here in the U.S., but globally. Tell us why. Now, there's nothing worse than having your business disorganized, but no need to fear. We are here to help.
First, though, let's get started with some entrepreneurial news that everybody should be aware of this week.
Welcome back to Game Changers, everyone. Have you ever wanted to see a reflection of yourself in Forbes? I mean, I know I have. Well, our next founder that we have, he probably is the best depiction of this. Joining us now, everybody, is Rashaad Lambert, founder of Forbes, The Culture. Hey, Rashaad.
Hey, that was a very dope intro.
Oh, right? Well, thank you.
Right?
Rashaad, I met you now a couple months ago. I actually don't even remember when it was at this point because, you know, founder life, everything runs together. But I met you at your event, Forbes the Culture, which is, I guess, a coming out sort of event here in New York City. For our viewers out there that don't really know exactly what Forbes the Culture is, can you just explain it to them?
Sure. In short, Forbes the Culture is a community of leaders of color from all over the world. We connect to collaborate and to change the game. Basically, we want to see more people of color, more creatives of color, more of our best and brightest in the places that they belong. So whether that's in corporate America, or whether it's starting their own company, or whether it's walking by this window on a skateboard.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So when you talk about corporate America, you often see not a lot of people like us sitting at the table.
Yeah.
So how do you help get more people to have a chair to pull up?
So it's really interesting that you said that, because since we started Forbes the Culture, people keep saying like, oh, now you have a seat at the table, now you have a seat at the table. And my goal, my aim was never really to have a seat at the table. It was more so to have my own table, so that we could have a discussion about the things that we want to take to these other tables. Forbes the Culture is not like a open forum for just like everybody. It's for the leaders of tomorrow. Like, we want to make sure that we do a better job in the millennial generation than they did all the Generation X. No, I mean, all shade to them, I guess. But there was not a succession plan. So there was no room for us to gain information from them and to avoid the potholes that they fell into. We fell into those same potholes and made our own mistakes. And we want to make sure that as we move forward, that we pass on the information that we've learned. And how we do that is by coming to our own table and like having discussions about things that we want to see changed and in these other in corporate America or beyond. But just we are stronger collectively, I'll say, and we have a much larger voice if we speak in one voice, as opposed to everybody speaking to their individual self-interest.
Oh, all right, guys, we have more coming up with Rashaad right after this. Not only is he the founder of Forbes the Culture, he actually has a plethora of companies under his umbrella. So stick with us right here on Game Changers. We'll be right back.
Joining us now is Rebecca Allen, CEO of Rebecca Allen Shoes. Thanks so much for having us and joining us with us.
Thanks for having me. Hi.
All right, let's go back a little bit to just really tell our viewers what Squad is, how they can grow their squad, and what this really means for authentically connecting with others.
Way back during my time in the Obama administration, we talked about healthcare, particularly from the Obamacare and a lot of the rules and regulations.
What about, the ability to take those online connections offline at scale? And so that was what Squad essentially is and does.
So tell us about how you've been leveraging the Obama network to help build your business. We're back with Rashaad Lambert from Forbes the Culture, talking all things community building. So Rashaad, tell us, what does culture even mean? I mean, in today's society, people throw it around. It's like the biggest buzzword. So tell me, what does it mean to you? And also, why should people care about it?
So to me, I've had to answer this question a lot, because I've had to meet and speak with a lot of people who are on Forbes the Culture. And I have to explain for the culture and what that means. And what culture means to me is community. It's almost like I'm synonymous. Being for the culture means that you either share our experiences or you empathize with our experiences, and you have become an ally for our community. The community could be of color. It could extend beyond that. But our experiences are what unite us. It's not necessarily about just the color of our skin. Because all of our skin colors are all different. All three of us have different skin colors. Ours is more closer.
Yeah.
All three. So with that is what it kind of means to me. It's about the camaraderie that we have based on our common experiences and the places that we are from and what we've had to overcome to be where we are today.
No, I definitely see that. I want to quickly, though, have you tell the people a little bit more about your marketing agency and literally like the long list of other businesses that you operate.
So I have Cerebellum H2O, which is a fully all-natural alkaline water company. It's based in upstate New York, actually. I have a sporty marketing group, which I started 10 years ago. We had our 10-year anniversary in June of this year. TL Marketing Solutions is actually it is fairly new, but I do a private consulting through that. And then we have Culture Makers, which is the parent company of Forbes the Culture. With Culture Makers, we help companies improve how they engage with our community. We want to make sure that we don't have to continuously explain what being for the culture means. We can just show them with our actions.
Yeah.
So that's what I like to call a serial entrepreneur.
Right.
Right. You do a little
Speak
bit
on
of
it.
everything.
Yeah.
So my question is, what's the consistent theme between all of them? How did you start all of them? Why do they matter to you?
Okay. And I know we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, the super abridged version.
Give us a 30-second.
I started my first business when I was 10. I didn't realize that I was starting a business, and everything that I've done kind of since then is based off of that first business. It was me bringing my friends together and kind of figuring out how we can make some money and stay out of trouble. And everything that I've done kind of since then is to improve the lives of others. People really get into like entrepreneurship as like a personal thing, and they make it about them. But when you start something, it should be to improve a space that you are entering. If that space is not better or not enhanced by you being a part of it, then you shouldn't be in it. And that's kind of the theme throughout all my businesses. We're not B Corps yet because I'm still processing it if I should do that or not. But everything that we do has a community-driven focus. So we do something every December called the Give Back, where we provide like a full day of events based in Philadelphia, because where I'm from. We give away free clothing and free school supplies, and people think about September as going back to school, but you go back to school in like January and you don't have a new book bag or new sneakers or things of nature. And we provide hot meals instead of canned goods. All of this stuff is for like thousands and thousands of people. Over the past 10 years, we've been able to help over 50,000 people, and that doesn't come cheap. So that's why I just started so many businesses, because I have to fund this stuff.
It definitely makes sense. And the actual Forbes 30 Under 30 conference is coming up in just a couple weeks, and that'll be out in Detroit this year. But Rashaad is beyond fascinating, and we got a lot more show coming up, Dan.
Yes, thanks so much for coming and chatting with us.
You're back with us on Game Changers, which of course we just talked to a really awesome founder who dropped several gems for us, and we want to quickly recap some of those for you and what we like to consider our entrepreneurial keys, everyone.
Yeah, first up, find innovative ways to fund your passions. Like, that's incredibly important. There's so many things out there that you have to do and like try to secure funding. So you have to think outside the box every now and then. Next up, pass information back to the next generation. It's not all about us. We have to make sure people behind us have the same tools and abilities and access that we've had. And finally, look for the needs in your community and work with others to address them. That's the whole idea of community, like working with others, collaborating, and that sort of thing. So, I mean, Rashaad was great to have today, and I'm glad he dropped these gems on us.
Oh, yeah, no, he definitely did. And, of course, we're going to have more Game Changers coming down the line. I'm Corey Hale, once again, with Dan Roberts. Thanks for sticking with us and catching some of those gems for Forbes The Culture.
Yes, and be sure to catch the next Game Changers episode, which is always available on Roku, Culture Banks, and YouTube. Until then, keep building for the culture.